Sup nerds, I'm Tom. This is a tile placement game, and generally, I don't really care for tile placement games that much. Does that mean that I don't like this game? Well, Miyabi is a drafting and tile placement game, really. You're drafting these tiles in the center that are either, squares, rectangles, very long rectangles, or L's. So they're not, I don't know, they don't really feel like true polyominoes because the only poly part of it is the L. But they are different sizes and you place them on your board, but you're pretty restrictive on placing them on your board because whatever feature is on there, right? So there's red trees, blue houses, there's koi ponds or whatever, whatever is on there, that has a specific row it has to go into. So it can go in any of these squares, but it has to be, if this is a bush, it can go in any of these squares, but it has to be in the bush row. And then you have the column does matter too because you have all these lanterns. Whenever you put anything into any sort of column, you move a lantern up to show that column has already been used. So you have to put in every different column throughout the whole round. And then when you're with the rows, you just have to make sure that you match up the same color. So in theory, you could get all bushes, right? You could just draft all bushes and they all go in the same row, and then they're all in a different column, so it's still following all the rules. Well, you actually can also play on top of other things too. So you're slowly building your board up in a 3D fashion, but you have to make sure that everything is completely supported. There can't be any holes. Obviously, you can't put a piece on top of another piece if it means it's not going to lay level and it's going to flop off. Also, there can't be a big gap. If I have a tile here, nothing, and then another tile, but this tile that I'm going to place on top is 3 long. You can make a little bridge. You can't do that either. What's really interesting about the game though is that you get points in counterintuitive ways, or you get points in multiple ways, but you have, it's that pointality thing if you have to pick an avenue and go real ham on it and you'll do well. You can't really do everything. I mean, you can try, but you'll be a lot better if you just pick one thing. So every time you place a tile, you get a point. It's the size of the tile times how high it is. So if this is a 2 square tile and I place it on top of another tile, so it's on the second level, 2 times 2, I get 4 points. Well, you can stack those bad boys up real high and be dropping one down and get 15 points or whatever. And that's a really strong thing. But then the problem is there's also majorities of how many of these little, again, they call them features. So the bushes, if I have the most bushes showing on my board, well, then I'm going to get 7 points at the end of the game for having the most. Second most gets 3 points. But if I keep stacking on top of each other, then I'm not really showing more bushes, right? I need to spread out to be able to show all of these things. Whenever I put something on top of it, yeah, I'm getting points, but I'm also covering up features. And, you maybe don't want to do that if you're trying to go for, get all those points there. Those are endgame points. You also get points for, if you're the first one to make a certain color, I think 5 high, you'll get points. There are also a bunch of, bonus tiles that you can play with. You can play the base game and then add in these tiles as you see fit. But I think they're pretty straightforward. I usually just play with them, or with some of them. There's some that I've looked at and I still have yet to play with, maybe because I read the rules and how they work and I just kind of was like, yeah, that doesn't sound that interesting. Maybe I will play with them, but these other ones just seem more straightforward and more easier to integrate. For instance, one of the tokens says, hey, look at your largest clump of features together and get a point per feature you have in that clump. And then one that's conversely says, look at the largest clump of non-features of the green pasture area, and you get 2 points per each square in that largest clump and things like that. Then there's one with a frog that moves around, and there's one where you get 7 points for every row and column where you have exactly 7 features. So that's another counterintuitive thing. I want to get 7 points to have exactly 7 features, but if I have 7 features, I might not win majority in some of these columns. So that is a basic rundown of the game. It's pretty straightforward. I like it a lot because I think it's simple enough to teach, but the strategy is a little bit deep there because you're constantly weighing different options of, again, well, I could put this over here. That gives me a bigger base if I want to build up on 3D wise. If I want to stack more tiles on top, you really want to spread out your tiles. I'm only getting 2 points? This is a 2-point tile. I'm only getting 2 points. I could put it on top of this big stack and get a bunch more points, but then I'm covering up more of these things, and now it becomes harder. If I went and put 3 singles on top of each other, boom, 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 over 3 rounds, right? I mean, that's probably isn't the best thing anyways because I'm not getting that many points. But then later on, now I have this big height differential, and I want to play something on top of that, but it has to be a single. You want to build up a big base, but it's hard to do that. That's slower. Oh, he's going a lot faster than me. Maybe I should start and get more points and put things on top of each other. It's there's not always like the best option when you're looking at on the board. And the draft does matter too, because I'd be staring at that board being like, please don't take that, please don't take that. Oh, okay, they took it, so now I need to change my plan. Or that person has a lot of rocks, they're probably going to win the rock majority, so I'm going to go ahead and try and take these rocks and fight them to get second place or something. And honestly, I don't even know if I have any complaints. The only one that I can think of is just component wise. This like little tree is a first player token, and it has, you know, the thing where it does this little standy thing to stand up, and it doesn't stay up very well. It flops out. Just right when I went to put that down, it came out. The other component thing I guess I'd complain about is these player boards are just like paper. Well, they're not paper, but they're not cardboard is what I'm saying. So, and everything else is cardboard, and it's thick, like good quality cardboard, and I think these wooden lanterns are good. I don't know why just the tree and these player boards aren't up to snuff compared to everything else, but it is what it is. And now I generally don't really like tile placement games. The fact that it's tile placement and drafting, it really, and the tile placement is simple. You know, I really hate the idea of like picking up one tile and staring at it and analyzing the absolute best place to place it based on all these different conditions. Like halfway through the round, like the game will start, avenues will start opening up to you because you only have, when you only have two more lanterns, you're like, okay, well, I can place something here or here. What colors are left? Okay, so I can either place in here or here, you know, because you just look, there's only two colors and I only have two lanterns left, so what am I going to do? And it's good for new players for that reason. The slightly polyomino shapes do throw them off a little bit, like trying to place this L, they'll be like, oh, wait a minute, that takes a lot more out of, you know, it takes a lot more work to place this L on top of something than it does to just place this, you know, this small one. But I don't want to build, again, I don't want to build a pyramid because I want to make it a little bit wider so I can put bigger stuff on top, you know? Overall, I really liked this game. I think it's pretty great. It's great for new players. It's great for more experienced gamers if you add in a lot more of those like endgame scoring tiles and things that mix up the game. Again, I haven't played with the frogs, or there's a Zen garden. There's garden tiles, I think. I haven't played with those too, but actually that's kind of cool. I mean, I know I said that they looked like they were going to be clunky, so you know my hopes aren't high for them. But I do like the idea that while I've played this game a bunch and I really like it, it still has more to offer me, and I think that's great. If any of what I was talking about in this video sounds interesting to you, I'm going to put a purchase link to this game in the description box down below. Also down below, there's going to be a link for information about this game topper. It's really dope. You should check that out too. And while you're down there checking out those links, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you'll never be bored.